So like I was saying, nationality is very key. You know what I'm saying? Because if you don't have no standing in law as a man being born of a natural mother, then you don't have no rights to anything. You don't have no inheritances to receive, okay, from your creator. So that being said, when you are a national in your appropriate persona, you can own things. But let me not forget what I was saying before. So those two forms of IDs we should have is a national ID and a passport. National ID and a passport. Both in our free national name, because we no longer need to be within these state jurisdictions. We need to start leaving these states, coming up out these states, out these corporate states. This is not our jurisdiction. All right? This is the jurisdiction we granted them. And honestly, they weren't even supposed to come out this goddamn far west. That's why we had them on the damn coast with those original 13 colonies, which is originally New England. Them shits wasn't all the way out here in what we call Arizona, Washington. They weren't out here. They weren't supposed to come out this far out. All right? So, with that being said, you know what I'm saying? Now, if you have a state ID in your free national name, you're still not in a bad situation, but it's dependent on how you know how to operate. Because eventually, right? And I'm going to tell y'all what's the eventual goal. The eventual goal is to completely put ourselves in a situation where we don't need anything from the United States. We don't need to go down to their courts to file anything. We can just post our proclamations in our own paper. All right? We can put our own properties in trust. All right? We can create our own ways of bringing in water. You know what I'm saying? Water pipes, our own form of electricity, growing our own foods. You know what I'm saying? Solar panels. So I'm talking about completely Xing out. All right, the United States. But it's not something that happens overnight. All right? It takes plan, strategy. Especially if you have a family. You can't just say, oh, I'm going to stop. I'm going to quit my job, declare my nationality. You know, I don't want to deal with the system. That's not realistic. But what you can do is fix yourself. Then once you fix yourself, fix how you think about yourself and your comprehension on your own history, then you can start fixing those things outside yourself. And they're not very big issues like, oh, well, I don't want to be taxed. Okay. Declare who you are. Be yourself. That's the start. Put it on the record. That's the first step. Whatever steps you thinking in your mind is needed, you need to do in order to be who you are, the first step should be, I need to put my declaration in writing and publish it either through a newspaper, whether I do it my goddamn self, or I you know what I'm talking about? Whether I publish it through a paper, like I said, do it by myself, even if I want to go and do it at the court. Wouldn't be necessary. Okay? If you want to just do what the hell you gotta do, man, without having to ask permission. Golly. It's just that simple. It's just that simple, man. How many of y'all want to be free? In order to be free, you got to be responsible. In order to be responsible, you got to study so that you know how to respond to situations when they come your direction. That's all it is. If you can do that, then you are part of the majority. Then you have rights to your inheritance. You have shown and proven that you are an heir to the estate and you're not lost at sea. You haven't abandoned it. It's just that simple. Be yourself, man. I've seen so many people open up to me in so many different ways and situations based off the fact of me being myself or me identifying myself in a particular way. Then people want to, hey, I want to show you something. This is when these type of phrases start coming out. You know what I'm talking about? I want to show you some shit. Or, hey, you know, this came across my mind and I thought about you. Hey, you know, I want to share something with you. But you got to show and prove that you are not stuck in the niggerdom. You are not in this nigga shit of black and white and colors and white supremacy and racism. You got to show and prove that you have risen above that shit. If you still talking about white supremacy and stuff, and you claiming to be a Moor, you are in violation of Article 3 of the Zodiac Constitution. All right? That's dealing with tax and military exemption. How is it that dealing with tax and military exemption, how is that talking about, you know what I'm saying, being out of order? It's real simple. Because right underneath that, in that same paragraph, it states that we don't have no time for racism, white supremacy, religious idol worship. We don't have no time for these things. That's why. That's a written law. That's a written law. Are you not obligated? Do you not have a legal duty? It's cool if you don't want to accept your legal duty, because everyone here on this motherfucking planet has obligations. There's no one here on this planet who don't have no obligations to nothing. If at least you have obligations to yourself. If at the least. All right? So there's no one who exists here with no obligations. Yes, you have a legal duty to yourself to keep yourself alive. All right? All right? Yes. Yes, you get help along the way. But after a certain point, you got to take control of those reins yourself. So everyone here has obligations. All right? So all I'm saying is, if you don't want to, which obligations do you want to live with? Everyone going to have legal duties. So which ones do you want to live with? I choose to live with the legal duties that actually come from me. That's what I choose to do. And it's a lot more easier, because then that means I don't got to step outside of who I am. I can actually close myself in and be more embraced by who I am in my own culture. And it's crazy, because guess what? My culture encompasses every other culture for every other nation. You know why? Because we're the oldest race or nation here. We're the most favored nation. So every other nation that came after us has here on this planet, guess where it came from? It came from us, man. So my culture encompasses every culture on the planet. You know how powerful that make a nigga feel? Come on. Do you know how powerful that make me feel when I could walk around and be amongst people? You know what I'm saying? I go out, I do things. I'm not always walking around with a camera in my face. I go out, I got to get things done. I'm out about during the daytime. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes, catch me on the bus, people they just have to stop and just come and say, you know, I have to come and ask you what's everything about. Or they'll want to inquire, wow, what's your culture about? That's so beautiful. You know what I'm saying? What does it represent? They want to know. They want to know what my legal obligation is. They want to know what my obligation is. Where do my obligations lie? That's what they're looking for, because they can see I present in a way. So where do my obligations lie? Well, you know what I say? Moorish American. That's where my obligations lie. I'm a Moorish American. And being a Moorish American, national, being a man, I'm going to say that one more time. Being a man, a Moorish American national, being a man comes with obligations. It comes with legal duties. It comes with responsibilities. Also comes with benefits. Also comes with protections. Also comes with power. But you got to rise up to claim it. You got to rise up to claim it. It's just like a story of King Arthur. He had to pull the sword out the damn rock. You know what I'm saying? The rock didn't come out of the ground and just like tilt itself over and let the sword slide into King Arthur's hand. He had to go up and take that shit. You got to take your nationality. It's part of salvation. Reclamation is part of salvation. Reclamation means you are reasserting. You are taking back or reasserting a right. So if you want to reclaim who you are, that means you got to speak. You got to shout it out at the top of your lungs. Proclaim it. for your own deliverance and salvation. Because all these words that I just used all originate from salvation. Declaration, proclamation. We're talking about salvation. Deliverance. We're talking about speaking on the matter. Are you black? No, I'm not black. I'm Moorish American. I'm shouting out against the matter. That's deliverance. When people say, yo, deliver me. In order to be delivered, that means you got to start speaking up. You got to start using that. You got to start using that throat chakra, that fifth chakra, that blue chakra, right? That deals with illusion. The color blue deals with illusion. So you need to use your throat chakra, which is the color blue, to point out the illusions. So therefore, that's what's necessary for your deliverance. Right? And then from your shouting it out, you're showing and proving that you're reclaiming. And like I told you, reclaiming is synonymous with declaration, proclamation, right? Reasserting a right. So when we're talking about you need to file your declaration and proclamation, judicial proclamation of nationality on the record, we're talking about salvation, y'all. All right. So all these things, it's like they can fall into so many ways. You can fall in through the Bible. You can fall in ways through just civics. You know what I'm saying? You could do it through just history. There's so many avenues you can come to the truth to. There's so many different ways you can come to the truth. But there's one thing about the truth. It don't change. And this is why my approach is nationality and trust, because it don't change. Because people are going to be themselves or not be themselves. And two, whether those people are being themselves or not being themselves, everyone wants to engage into commerce. Everyone likes to be able to barter and trade. Okay? It's exciting. It's an exhilarating feeling to be able to create something and have other people find value in it the same way you find value and actually be willing to trade with you of something that they have a value for that. That's an amazing feeling. Just want you to know. All right? But if you're going to be, just be. And then once you are being, let all that other shit be. You get what I'm saying? This is why the prophet said, you know, you don't need to give away Social Security. You don't need to give away the straw man. But he said, do everything moving forward in your free national name. You know what that means? That means that, I'm going to tell you what that means. These are the steps. Pay attention. Write it down. This is what it means. It means when you claim your nationality and you put it in writing and you declare it on the public record and you file it, or whether you do that through a newspaper, just proclaiming something for yourselves, because there's plenty of Supreme Court case laws that state the right of man to change their name or title at will without legal court procedures. I actually had a book I made on that. So if you are interested in that book, please contact me at suneluniversity@gmail.com. Okay? And this is not like in comparison to the other books I've created, this is actually like a quick Supreme Court case law book, just going right into those various case law dealing with the common law name change. All right, so that book is 5 notes. It's 5 notes. All payments can be made to the PayPal, which will be in the description link, or and if you can't find it there, which I don't know why you wouldn't, but if you can't find it there, then just simply email me and I will give you the link personally from there via email. All right? So the book is called Common Law Name Change. It's 5 notes, and it's just having a slew of Supreme Court case laws dealing with the right of man to legally change his name without court procedures. Okay? This is called common law. But in order to be a part or be participating in common law, you have to be attached to a culture, a custom, a tradition, a religious creed that is yours and yours alone. Okay? You know what I'm saying? There was a statement I said the other day. Aboriginals are natives, but not all natives are aboriginals. All right? So, with that being said, let's continue. So once you file it on the record, you got your certified copy. What you want to do is you want to create a trust, a foreign trust, meaning I have a video. It's called How to Create a Foreign EIN on my YouTube page. Look that up. I'll walk through the process. Call, get your foreign EIN established. Then go online to the IRS.gov website to where you can, guess what? You can create EINs. You can apply for an EIN online. What should you do? When you apply online, you use your foreign trust as the responsible party. This is how you create an umbrella. All right? Because when you create your shit properly, you should be claiming your tax treaty benefits. So this is why I'm saying it's important to be yourself, because not everyone can claim any tax treaty. Like, I can't just claim a treaty dealing with China. You understand what I'm saying? I can't claim a treaty dealing with Cherokee, because Cherokee, the name Cherokee, wasn't always around. Before they were called Cherokee, which when they became so-called civilized, they were known as Anuia. All right? So Anuia and Cherokee are not the same people, because you see what the so-called Cherokee people look like today. But when you talk about the Anuia, you're talking about us. All right? The original Cherokee. So there's always going to be a distortion from the source. This is why it's important to come back to the mind, come back to the ways and thoughts of your ancient mothers and fathers. So you always be grounded, no matter what time it is, no matter what year it is, or what year they proclaim it to be. You'll always be grounded. They'll tell you it's 2017, but I'm grounded in myself and my history to know that it's 1432. So you see, I can live amongst the illusion because my throat chakra is active. So therefore, I can speak to what's false. Does that make sense? I can speak to the illusion. And in order to speak to the illusion, you have to do it through your throat chakra, the blue chakra, the fifth chakra. All right? So understand that being ourselves is enough. And we need to be content with who we are. And once we're content and accept that, then we can start making moves into commerce. So now, continuing with the IRS website. Once you create your foreign trust as the responsible party, right? What you're going to do is you're going to create an entity. Okay? Utilizing the entity on your birth certificate, right? Your straw, the straw that was created for you when you were born, which is your estate. The straw is your estate. Yes, they got it right. The straw is your estate. If it's your shit, there ain't no reason to capture it. What you need to do is subdue it. Capturing and subduing are not the same thing. You see, because when I capture you, I could capture you, right? If I capture you, that means I got to tie you up. I got to keep you in something. The minute I loosen the tie, or I open the cage, or I bring you out wherever you're going to, you're going to try to find a way to escape because you're being held against your will. So you don't want to capture a straw. You want to subject the straw. The reason why you've been subjected is because you have thought you were the straw. You thought you were a person, when in all actuality, you are a people in possession of a person. And that person is called your estate. So because everything has been incorporated, everything is bankrupt and insolvent, it's now no longer, it's actually moot now to be operating in the public. It's moot. It's actually a disadvantage. It hurts more to operate in the public, right? So now this is why it's important to go back into the private, because in the private you can still operate according to something called general laws. And general laws are laws that have been established from ancients of time, prior to the laws that are so-called being used today, and they are still in force and effective today as they were when they were ratified. And you will find what I'm saying being affirmed in Article 6, all right, of any goddamn constitution dealing with the United States. Article 6. All right, Article 6. So, the Supremacy Clause. This is why they say all treaties shall be the supreme law of the land. So now, why you don't want to tie yourself back to a treaty again? Because there ain't no treaty for black African American people. Y'all know that, right? There ain't no treaty for black and African American people. No such treaty exists. Therefore, there are no such affordable rights to such persons. Okay? So, you have that in place. Now, you know what I'm saying? What you do is you want to create an estate. You'll make your foreign EIN the responsible party. You want to create an estate. And of course, you want to do this after you've properly, and I'm not going to say authenticate, when you've properly secured the bond. When I say bond, I'm talking about the birth certificate, certificate of live birth. When you've properly secured the bond, meaning you've taken your affidavit and you've attached an affidavit of beneficial ownership, or what I would call an affidavit of heirship, or affidavit of reversion of estate, to where you're reclaiming that straw as yourself. For an example, the name of my straw, because I'm telling you what I've done, right? So the name of my straw, Reginald Claudel Jules. In my affidavit of reversion, I, Ku, Amare Suit L, you know what I'm saying? The owner of Reginald Claudel Jules, or the heir, right? Or the grantor of Reginald Claudel Jules. So you got to comprehend that. So now what I did was, me being the heir, I assigned my foreign EIN as the responsible party. So I made an estate. And guess what? When you're making an estate, you need a social security because it's for a dead person. So you make an estate for the dead person. You make an estate for the dead person. The dead person is what? The entity. Because when you were born, the moment you were born classified as black African American, you were born dead and lost at sea. So until you have actually declared and proclaimed your nationality, come back to salvation, or have attained salvation, you know what I'm saying? Only then at that moment can you secure that trust which was created for you, because now you've made the claim that you are not lost at sea. You're not incompetent. You're not a minor. You're of the majority. Okay? You have origins and peoples. Therefore, you have constitutional rights and treaty rights and international rights and human rights and all other type of rights that deal with preserving your sacred essence. Okay? Because people who have ties and respect for their culture, they are deemed as sacred. That's like, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like, oh, wow, no, they know who they are. You know, let's protect this. We don't want to damage this. This is great. You know, we want to preserve this. This is good. It's one of those moments where it's like, and God saw what he created, and it was good. You see what I'm saying? But those moments only happen when you are being yourselves. Then it's, guess what? Then everyone's subconscious goes into the, oh no, this is worth, wow, this culture is beautiful. The mind, the way your thought process is, this is worth protecting. We need to protect and preserve you. We don't want to kill you. We don't want to mistreat you. You know what I'm saying? Then the tone changes, the energy changes. Not because you gotta talk someone into respecting you. They just respect you because you respect your motherfucking ancestors. God damn, that shit feel good. You know what I'm saying? When you see elders like 60 and up, you know what I'm saying? 70 and up, 80s, in their 90s, paying homage and respect to you because they can see that you, out of everything, out of all the distractions, all the bullshit, they can see that you have still remained grounded. And I'm not even old. I'm only 30. I'm only 30, y'all. So they give me hella respect. And that shit feel good that I'm getting respect just off the strength of me giving my ancestors respect. So they got to give me respect off that strength alone. You know what I'm saying? And then I come in the name of my ancestors. So I have to be myself, and I also have to act like myself all times. What are your obligations? This is my obligation, being Moorish American, being who I am. I am that I am is my obligation. All right? So therefore I honor where I came from. You understand what I'm talking about? So it's like, what more is there to really say? Which is, what are the steps? You know what I'm talking about? Really, other than the trust part, which I can see is a little bit extensive. You know what I'm saying? When you take your estate, assign it underneath your foreign estate as the responsible party. And remember now, they're going to ask for a date. What's the date the entity died? The day you declared your nationality and filed it on the record. The day you came into full life is the day your straw died. You comprehend? The day you attained salvation, or you could say the day you attained salvation, or the day you got baptized. You see how I can go so many different avenues and directions with it, but it'll still come around to the same direction. All right? The day you got baptized, the day you went under the water, the day you came back up anew, a different person with justice on your side, or Jesus on your side. Because Jesus means justice, right? So now that you are in alignment, right? You're deemed as something precious now. You want to be protected. People want to protect you more than harm you. And there are things in place to protect such people because those people are deemed as the gems of society. First-class citizenship. That's what first-class citizenship is all about. Because if you don't have culture, you don't have civilization. So for those who still have attachments to culture, then essentially what it means is that civilization still is on track to continue because that culture is still being passed down. So this is why we're people worth protecting. This is why there are laws and constitutions in place to protect us through our religion, which is Islamism. All right? So once you have your estate in place, and it will become an estate once that's done, you'll get a whole EIN assigned for that. Then what you have done now is you have subdued the straw, brought it underneath the laws of your jurisdiction, and you have fired everyone else who wants to do that. There ain't no UCC needed for that. Not to say that if you file it, just for your own feel, to feel better, then do that. But it's neither necessary nor effective. So I just don't see the point. That's why I operate through trust. So, and then from there, being that we are the creditors, but that we can actually show and prove that we're the creditors, it's not just saying, well, hey, I'm the creditor. But then when they ask you anything about your actual estate, you're kind of like out to lunch, then you're not an heir. Heirs know about their shit. Right? If I say I'm a CEO, that means I know everything about my company. How I'm going to be the CEO, I don't know nothing about my company. That means I'm the CEO in name only, which really don't mean a lot because the United States exists in name only. All right? Now, however, it will mean something if you give that power. And if you have enough people giving something power that don't mean shit, it will mean something. That's the power of us as people. We are the ones that create things here. So we have to come back home, man. And so once that's done, and that's how you secure your estate. But you got to bring it up outside the United States, man. All right? That's all that shit is. And then from there is just communications. Like I said, USC Title 12-411 and also 95A2. All underneath Title 12. Then is that and dealing with the Secretary of the Treasury in D.C., man. Like, people make shit way too complicated, man. It's way too complicated, and it's not that complicated. All right, so this is why I wanted to make that video, to reel it in that nationality comes first, commerce comes second. But do not think that nationality is subject to commerce. No. Commerce is subject to nationality, because when you operate in commerce, you have protections under your laws when you're dealing in commerce. So if you don't have any laws to govern yourself, then you have no protections when you're dealing in commerce. That means you're liable to get rammed by people up to you know what at any given time. All right? It means you're vulnerable. Who the hell wants to be vulnerable? Who the hell wants to get hurt all the time? All right? So with that being said, I'm your brother. You know I love you. Hopefully this video brings some more clarity on things. Like I said, if you want to get on board with Suno University, you can email me at sunouniversity@gmail.com, or you can simply go to or type in Suno University. You know what I'm saying? Hit the link. It's a 14-day free trial. After that, it's $19.99 a month. All right, that's where I focus on dealing with the archives and the nitty-gritties of how-tos. You know what I'm saying? I also have books. Available as well. You know what I'm saying? If you're interested in the books, ebooks, they're all ebooks. If you're interested in the ebooks, holler at me at sunouniversity@gmail.com. Anything you need, sunouniversity@gmail.com. That being said, I'm your brother Cool. Peace, love, and light.